What's up, guys? I'm BTC. The Hanzo rework is well underway on the PTR, but coming up very quickly after it are going to be reworks for both Symmetra and Torbjorn. After the Hanzo rework, Symmetra is up next, but there seems to be a little bit of confusion as to what Blizzard is going to do because of some slightly confusing, conflicting information that some of the lead developers have given in the recent interviews. So let me try to clear everything up for you guys. All of this information comes from two different interviews with two different Blizzard developers, and I'll put those links down below. We're going to start with the one that was published just today, though, and that was with Jeff Goodman. And he basically talks about the difficulties of balancing a character like Symmetra in the support role, as she's the only non-healing support, and in Overwatch that just doesn't really work because usually you have 2 damage, 2 tank, and then 2 healers. So in order to put Symmetra in there, you have to remove one of those things. And the decision is, well, do you get rid of a DPS? Do you get rid of a healer? You know, what is it that you have to replace in order to get Symmetra in there? So she really just doesn't have a place. He says, I don't have a ton of details for what we're doing with her yet, as we're still iterating on her heavily internally. But we started looking at her with the base idea that she should either be able to heal and stay in the support role, or be given more damage viability and move to the defense role. So a couple of things are popping up with this. Either he's intentionally being a little bit kind of secretive and he doesn't want to give away all the stuff, or maybe this was an interview from a little while ago when they hadn't actually determined what they were going to do with the character. But the fact that it was published just today is what is kind of confusing people, because 5 days ago there was a different interview given with Tim Ford, who is also a lead software engineer for Overwatch, and while he was also a little bit vague, there was one thing he absolutely confirmed, and that is the new role for her. And so he goes and says, we are discussing the change right now, and although we can't tell you the details of each change, we would still like to let you know it will be a fairly dramatic change. One thing we can tell you is that Symmetra will turn from a support hero to a defense hero after the remake. Our aim is to make the usage of Symmetra even more flexible from it. So it seems like maybe the Jeff Goodman interview was recorded sooner but published later, or possibly there wasn't a full agreement or confirmation on what they were supposed to be saying in the interview, and therefore Tim Ford gave away a little bit more information than he was supposed to. In either case, Symmetra was originally considered to be getting healing abilities and staying in the support category, but ultimately they decided that it would be better to move her to defense and give her more damage and more flexibility. So there you go. I hope that clears everything up. I already made another video talking about a lot of these potential changes that they're going to have to make in order to move her to the defense category. How the teleporter is no longer going to be an ultimate and it's going to be a regular ability. I'm not going to redo all of that. It's in the other video. You can see it on screen right now. There'll be a link down below. Go and check that out after you're done watching this. The other thing to talk about is the Torbjorn rework, because Blizzard has been kind of a little bit back and forth about it. Like, at first they were like, oh yeah, we're gonna rework the character, and then they changed it to like, well, maybe we're just gonna modify a few things here and there. But now it looks like they're back at the, yes, we're gonna basically tear up Torbjorn, and we're gonna do a full rework of the character in order to get him to where he needs to be, because Torbjorn right now has less than 1% pick rate, which is just absolutely terrible. The only character in the game with a worse pick rate is Symmetra. And one of the main things about these two reworks, like Torbjorn and Symmetra, that some people don't seem to understand is that, yes, while these characters can be strong in the lower brackets, it might be difficult to deal with the Symmetra left click in the bronze, silver, or gold matches, but anything beyond diamond, Symmetra and Torbjorn are complete garbage characters. They are barely a nuisance, and they just are not effective in any way, shape, form, or fashion. With Torbjorn, a lot of his problems come from the fact that it's a very static character. the turret is a large portion of his damage, and yet it never changes. Whether you're a bronze or a GM, the turret is always going to have the same accuracy, it's going to have the same damage, the same health, all that sort of stuff. Nothing ever changes. While you can move the turret around, really, you don't have to be a GM player to know where the effective turret spots are. Let's be honest here. A bronze or a silver player using Torbjorn for a couple hours is already going to know every effective spot to put the Torbjorn turret. There just aren't that many places to put it. So, again, what might be problematic for the lower brackets is just a complete joke at the upper brackets, and the turret does almost nothing. Again, I don't want to go into too much detail because I already made a full video completely breaking down every single aspect of Torbjorn and why he needs a rework and what should be done with it. So again, that's on the screen, and I'll put a link to that down below so you can check that out as well. So now that we have that comment from Jeff Goodman, let me ask you guys, would you have preferred if they kept Symmetra in the support category and simply gave her healing ability, or are you glad that they're just getting rid of that altogether and moving her into the defense category where they can do some new stuff with the character? Let me know down below. Thanks for watching. Make sure to check out my Discord server. Follow me on Twitch and Twitter. The links for that stuff are down below. And remember, always blame the controller, because it's never your fault. Also, special thanks to all my Patreon supporters for helping to make this all possible. If you'd like to see what kind of cool rewards you can get for supporting the channel, check the links on screen and down below.